Hi guys, happy Sunday. I'm so excited to have you guys all on. So honestly, this was kind of like a last minute thing. I just felt like it was needed and I was having a couple conversations with some girls. I was like, you know what? We need to do a Zoom. I was having a conversation with Adriana this morning and then Haley, and we were just having like honestly some just really good conversations that I just feel like everyone needs to hear. So I guess you can kind of call this like a mindset slash God slash maybe even sharing some tips at the end type of Zoom.
It's a real talk Zoom.
Yeah, real talk Zoom. So I don't really know exactly how it's going to go, but we're just kind of going to wing it. I hope it's going to be really good. It's going to be helpful for you guys. So please keep sharing it and have your girls hop on. But I just got back late last night. I was actually in Connecticut visiting family and friends last week, which was so much fun. But it's crazy because being there, it kind of humbled me because I haven't been there in over 4 years. And we actually drove past our old apartment where we used to live when we joined It Works. And where we lived was like a super unsafe ghetto studio apartment above a nail salon. That was all we could afford at the time. And at the time, obviously, as a 20-year-old, like it didn't matter to me. I was just super excited to be living on my own. But just driving past it, I was like, wow, like I can't believe like we used to live here. Like I can't believe like this is where we started. And I ended up meeting up with like an old high school friend, and it was so fun catching up. But after like talking to her and talking to some other people and just like hearing some things from like other people, so many people that I went to school with and people that I like was best friends with, like they're still doing like the same thing. Like after all these years, like 8 to 10 years later, they're all still like living in the same house. Some still live at home. And now I'm not saying this to offend anybody that may still be in that situation. I'm just saying like it's been a long time. And it's crazy because so many people now obviously have graduated, they've gotten their full-time 9-to-5 jobs. And so many of them, if not almost all of them, like work their 9-to-5 and then they have like a second job. They are like a waitress or a bartender because they need more to be able to pay the bills because their 9-to-5 is not paying them like what it should, right? Or what we would hope it to pay. And they're like literally hustling on the weekends and at nights. And I honestly just kind of like felt bad for them. But at the same time, I'm like, well, that was their decision to stay doing the same thing. And some people like literally still live at home. They still haven't like gotten a house or rented, their own apartment, things like that. And it just humbled me and it made me so much more grateful for what I have, where I live, like the opportunity that we have, the business that we have. And now, obviously, if you guys are just new here and you're just starting off, and if that's like you, I think that's great. I do commend the hustle. I remember when I first started, I was working all these different part-time jobs, and I told you where I lived. But at the same time, I say this because at any point, anyone can decide to make a change, and it's up to you to decide if you're sick and tired of living in the same situation that you're in. And you ask yourself, like, are you going to be in the same position you are right now in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or do you want to be in a totally different position? Because I know for me, like where I came from, like I didn't want to stay there. Like I had big dreams for myself. And now that like I've done a lot of those things, like I'm just used to it. It's like my everyday life. Like we even talk all the time that like we're so like it's so normal that we just like work from home every day and we get to do whatever we want. And I know a lot of people work from home now since COVID, but like we actually get to literally go do whatever we want. I don't have to stay clocked into a computer all day. And I forget that that's like not normal life for people. Like when I was making plans with people, I'd make plans for dinner because people don't just get to leave their job for lunch to go out to like hang out and stuff. I like forgot that, right? And I have to like remember like, oh my gosh, like this is my life. Like it's not normal to live this life. And I was just so like overwhelmed with so much gratitude. And I say this because so many people that maybe that have been doing this for a while, or maybe you haven't, you get kind of like in your own head about like, well, this business worked for me long term, or you think about like a plan B, or you just kind of get like frustrated and you forget that like this is like the best thing that there is, in my opinion. Like I do believe this is the best thing. I know there's other companies out there, but all those other companies, they take work too. The grass is not greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it. And I'm just here to remind you, if you need that reminder, because honestly, sometimes we all do, that like this business can literally completely change your life. And where we're headed in the company and all the things that are happening right now behind the scenes in corporate, the people that Mark has hired, like everyone that is right now working like with the new products and like revamping the comp plan, like all the things that are happening right now before the Black Friday sales, all the holiday things coming, conference in January, like there is so many amazing things coming. And even though you might not be where you want to be like right now in this moment, even if things aren't exactly how you would like for them to be, I just want you to be excited about the future. And I want you to be excited about what you have your hands on. And remember like how amazing and what a blessing it is, and that we should be excited to share it with others, because Like a lot of people out there are just struggling. Like inflation is like a thing, like things are expensive and people aren't really getting paid anymore. Like making $100,000 a year isn't like that cool anymore. Like it goes very quickly. And I just wanted to share that because it's just perspective. Sometimes we all need that reminder that like what we have in our hands is incredible. It's such a blessing. And you get to decide like if you're going to run with it. And I don't care if you've been in for a day or 5 years or as long as I've been, and you're not where you want to be, that's okay. Like God put you here for a reason. You're here on purpose. You have a purpose. Sadly, a lot of people don't live out to see their purpose because they just don't, they give up, or they just don't have the faith that God can do it for them. But I want you all here to know that you're here for a reason and that I believe in you. And I know that God put you here for a reason. And I want you to live out and fulfill your God-given dream, because God didn't just put you here just for you. He didn't just put you here and to take you only this far. Like there are such greater plans for you. And I want you guys to truly believe that. And that's just kind of what I wanted to share for right now. I don't know if there's anything to add to that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I feel like it's hard to like feel that way whenever maybe things aren't going that great for you. Can you guys drop a 1 if like last month was hard for you guys? Like last month was hard, the last week has been hard, like in the business. Like if it's been hard for you, whether to bring in customers or new team members, right? Okay, so that's a lot of ones. That's like everybody on this Zoom. So I totally understand how you're feeling, because obviously I know that a lot of you guys know me and you know, like basically like how long I've been in this business, and I've been consistent since day one. Since I've been in this business, I've been in this business over 4 years, and I've considered myself over the past like 2 years, like 3 years, like a mass enroller in this business. And I'm here to tell you that last month was one of the lowest months for customers for me. Guys, I completed 1 foreign friend last month. 1. Okay. And that's not normal for me. Like I'm the kind of girl that brings in like 60 customers, and I brought in 12, and I could have easily let that completely just like, and I know a lot of you are like, oh my God, 60, I'd kill for 60, right? But at the end of the day, when you're up there and you're doing the things and you're literally doing everything and you're bringing in these massive results, and then you go from something like that to something as just 1 foreign friend, it can really rock your world. And you can easily be like, oh my God, like this new customer program, like this is harder, right? Like how many of you drop a 2 if you are like 50 BV plus? That's hard. Like I can't get one slimming gummies anymore. I gotta sell packs. This is tough. Like, oh my gosh, 300 BV to get a foreign friend. How am I gonna complete that? Listen to me. I totally understand how you're feeling. First of all, thank you to everybody who's dropping a 1 or dropping a 2 and being vulnerable, because it's not easy for me to say this on a Zoom, right? Like for me, I'm like, I like showing up. I like producing the mass results. Like it's not easy for me to be vulnerable too, but I want to be that with you guys and be transparent and just say that I felt like last month I was at rock bottom, and I could have easily blamed everything around me. I could have been like, oh my gosh, but like, you know, we were in Punta Cana. That's why, right? Or, oh, the new loyal customer program. That's why, because things are shifting, things are changing. But at the end of the day, you want to know what it was? It was God humbling me because I wasn't grateful. Because even when I did get those customers, and even though they weren't 50 BV and they didn't count towards a foreign friend, I wasn't grateful for them. Honest, you know, like as God is watching, he knows I'm telling the truth right now. Like I was not grateful for it. And even though I maybe put on my stories, I got the customer behind closed doors, I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't even complete a goal that I need. And how selfish of me to think that when someone probably just got the money to finally try our products and getting excited to see their own results, right? And I'm over here not even grateful that they even joined with me. They could have easily joined with somebody else. They joined with me though. And that's what's so special about this business is you guys all get to be your own bosses, and everybody that you bring in is a gift, and it's a part of your journey here with It Works. And I know that that might not be what you want, and it wasn't what you needed to fulfill your goal. But at the end of the day, what if that customer decides to become a distributor and becomes your brand new triple diamond on your team? But because you didn't care that they signed up with Slimming Gummies because it didn't complete your foreign friend, you weren't grateful for them. So that person ends up joining with somebody else and becoming a distributor, rock star in somebody else's team who does appreciate them. And you have to realize that at the end of the day, God will not bless you with more when you're not grateful for what you have. Right. And I know that's a really hard pill to swallow. And I know this might be some like real tough love for you guys. And that's why this Zoom was called Real Talk, because at the end of the day, he was humbling me. Right. He was not giving me more customers. No matter how much I prayed. How many of you have ever prayed for something and you didn't get it? Drop a 3. If you've ever prayed for something, you've prayed for a promotion, you've prayed for a new house, you've prayed for, right? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, but like you prayed for something, some certain amount of money, you prayed for customers, a bonus, right? Like Christmas cash right now. A lot of you are praying for Christmas cash and nothing's happening. And you're wondering what it is, right? You're like, I'm doing all the things, God. Like where are the results? But you have to check your heart first, because at the end of the day, that's what he's trying to bring you back to, is if you're grateful and if you have an attitude of gratitude. So I want you guys to remember that when you are praying, that it's not all on him, right? To change your life. It's on you. And that's why what you do on a daily basis, even outside of this business, impacts your life, your business, your day to day, right? So
and so many people, unfortunately, or I feel like at this point, you can drop a 1 if that was you, or if you don't want to say, have already counted themselves out for Christmas cash because they just think it's too hard, or they just run out of time. And I want you guys, that's like the worst thing that you can do. And I want you guys to not do that. And I also want to share that I know for, even myself or other people, like if they've ever had like a tough month, they let that carry into another month.
Yeah.
And so Haley had a tough month. Now I know obviously 12 customers is still a lot for some people. Some people might look at that and be like, wow, that's great. But to Haley's standard and her normalcy, like that wasn't. But this month she's doing absolutely incredible. And I want you to kind of talk a little bit about how like you changed that, because you have to consciously work on your mindset and have that gratitude to be able to do something different to change it. Because there's always a solution to every single problem if you're willing to find it. But if you just stay sulking in that pity party, you're just going to get the same results over and over and over again.
Yeah. I feel like going into November too, I had a different circumstance where I was like, gosh, now I'm going to go on vacation for over a week. Like for those of you that follow my Instagram, I went to Curacao for 8 days and I was like, how am I supposed to, I just had in my head, I was like, I just had a horrible month in my business. I looked at my husband and I said, how am I supposed to go into the next month when we're starting it off with like a vacation? I don't even feel like I deserved it. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, of course you deserve it. He goes, because you're consistent in your business and you do the things every single day. He goes, and now this is a new month. This is a new start. He goes, and I don't want you to look at last month like you didn't accomplish anything. He goes, because at the end of the day, you still changed lives. He goes, you still impacted somebody. He goes, even if it wasn't just your customers, he goes, people on your Instagram, they're watching your story, people on Facebook. He really brought me back down to earth and made me realize that even if I don't get the customers or the goals that I want, I'm still making an impact. And that's what you guys have to remember every single day. Just because you don't get a customer, you didn't get a customer today, it doesn't mean that you're not good at this business or that you're not worthy to have 6 figures someday. That's not what it's about. It's about looking at what you're doing and being proud of the work that you did so you can go and do better tomorrow. And that's why when I was in Curacao, I was mass enrolling and I wasn't even like doing like my main messages, right? Because of all the work that I did the month prior, it was being blessed. And the month before that, and the month before that, and the month before that. Your work is constantly being blessed and not in the way that you think it is. Just because you put up a reel and it hit 200 views, it doesn't mean that that reel was a flop. Okay. Because at the end of the day, God saw you put the work to make that video. You took the 10 minutes, right? You got your hair and makeup ready and you did the work, right? And he's going to bless it. Maybe not with that exact reel and the views that you want, but maybe with a host to post on Facebook because you've been staying consistent on Facebook too. Something else I wanted to say really quick. TikTok. How many of you are disappointed with how TikTok is performing right now? Be totally honest with me. Drop a 1 below because, oh my gosh, when TikTok stopped doing what it was doing for me, holy crap, that made me realize that I'm not staying consistent on other platforms. That was the biggest smack in the face for me. Yeah, thank you to those of you who dropped 1s because 100% I felt that way too. I was like, wow, TikTok is not doing what it's doing. Facebook Reels, drop a 1 if that's you. It's not doing what you thought it was doing or what it's been doing for you, right? This is why you have to stay consistent in all areas. But then whenever one starts to fall short, you go to the other and you're like, all right, time to pick it up on Facebook, host to post. You've been doing it for 3 days and you go, where are my results? What do you mean, where are your results? You haven't even been doing it for a whole week. And you're sitting there wondering where your results. And you're looking at other people saying, well, they're getting results. Well, guess what? They've been consistent with Host of Post for 3 months. You have to give it time. You have to ask for the patience of Jesus Christ. That is what I ask that all of you start to pray for every day, is the patience of Jesus Christ in everything, right? In the people that tell you no, in the people that don't post for you, that don't host a post for you, in the ones that go up and don't get comments, in the people that ghost you, are rude to you, quit, cancel, whatever it may be. You have to actually realize that all those people are a part of your journey, whether you like it or not. Those people came across your page, and I know it's a no right now, but it might be a yes later on. I signed a girl this month on Instagram Reels who has been watching me since the day that I joined this business. We were friends in high school and we didn't stay connected, and she bought from me on Instagram Reels. And she literally has been watching me for 4.5 years. And she just decided to buy just because I've been consistent on my Instagram for 4 years. Now, I'm not saying you need to wait 4 years for someone to join you, but that just goes to show that God was blessing me. I wasn't following up with that girl. 100% God's timing, not ours. And that was her timing for her to finally join. But if you like look back on the messages that I sent her, I went back all the way to 2018. I messaged her the first day I joined this business, asked her to be a product tester, and she said no. And she finally joined and is a customer. You know what I mean? And I know that's a part of her journey. And I was upset at the time. I remember being so upset. She said no. I was like, dang, I went to school with this girl. She told me no, right? And you can get frustrated with the people that you thought were going to support you. But at the end of the day, God will bring them when they're ready. So just know that everybody that you guys talk to from this day forward till the end of Christmas cash, till the end of the year, right? That they are a part of your journey no matter what their answer is. Okay?
I love that so much. And guys, Taylor, I want to also remind you, like, we all have bad days. Like, I have bad days. I have life happen all the time. I'm a mom now. I have a screaming kid that just found his voice, and it's very overstimulating. We all have personal things going on in our lives that affect how we work our business, of course. But I want you guys to know that, like, I have always worked my business, through all seasons the last almost 8 years, just having so much unwavering faith that no matter what, like, God was going to take care of me, that he was going to fulfill my needs, that even during a harder season or someone quitting or life just happening, whatever the case is, that he was always going to come through for me, because he will always take care of me, because it's a promise. I truly believe that and trust that. And if we try to rely on our own abilities, we're always going to fall short. You're always going to end up feeling empty. You're going to end up feeling tired. You're going to lose strength. You're going to lose excitement. We can't do life without God. We can't do business without God, marriage, parenthood, all the things. We can't do it. And if we try to, you're going to end up very unhappy and you're going to struggle. And that's just like the thing that I always go back to. And anytime that I'm feeling, any type of way, or just tired, or just honestly just drained, I usually like reflect. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't really been spending as much time with God as I normally should or would. And that's probably where I'm lacking, because I'm not feeling like my tank up, because I have to every single day to be able to take on everything that life, everything that's happening in life.
I wanted to add on to that really quick.
Please.
It actually says that in Philippians 4:19. I don't know if you guys know this verse or not, but it literally, I have it highlighted because I want to make sure I said this, but it says, and this same God who takes care of me will supply all your needs from his glorious riches, which have been given to us in Christ Jesus. So if you're worried about going all in on your business, if you're worried about the extra time you're going to spend and fall short of Christmas cash, don't, because he won't let you fall short. If you have faith that he's going to lead you to it, he's going to lead you through it. Okay. So I just had to add on to that.
Absolutely love that. And also like the plan B. I know so many people, unfortunately, work this business with like a backup plan in their mind.
Yeah.
Now, obviously not everyone's in this for the same reason. Some people do this part-time and that's fine. Some people do this full-time, or if this is something that you want to do full-time, great. But if you always have like that voice in the back of your mind saying like, well, if this doesn't work out, like I'll just go do this, you're always going to fall back on that plan B because you're not all in. And for me personally, I've always been all in for this business because this is all that I have. This is all that I've ever had. And let me tell you, even though at some times that could seem scary, especially in the beginning, that has given me such an incredible sense of urgency to work my business with such a fire that no one was going to stop me, because I had no choice but to make it work. Because if someone told you today, you have to go get Christmas cash or you're going to lose your house and be on the streets tomorrow, you know, you would best believe that no matter what, you're going to go figure out how to do Christmas cash because you're not going to be homeless, right? If you're working with that sense of urgency, you're going to get it done no matter what it takes. And if you're working every single day, also like just kind of like feeling bland, like you just don't feel good and you're not excited about your business, how can you possibly expect to produce good results or even enroll, you know, quality people into your business? Excitement is contagious, just like negativity is. So if your energy is just kind of feeling like you're not feeling that great and you're just kind of working at a place of desperation, you're just working just to work and you're enrolling just to enroll and you're kind of just going through the motions, but you're not actually excited, filling yourself up every single day, well, you're not going to get the same results that Haley will or someone else that is filling themselves up. Me and Adriana were talking about it this morning. She was like bragging on Haley. It was so cute. She was saying that she like prays every single morning, like right here at her desk. And like, she has her time with God. She prays about everything. And she prays over her enrollment. She prays over even her videos, like her TikToks and her reels. I thought it was so cute. And she prays over everything. And she always says like, God's going to send you the people. And like, she believes it. Like, she doesn't just say it, like she actually believes it. And then she gets to work, but she's excited when she's working because she knows that God is going to fulfill her needs. Now, how many of you maybe haven't done that ever or in a while? How many of you are actually praying over your business and actually giving it to God? How many of you are actually excited when you work your business? Are you just kind of just doing it just to do it? And are you pissed off and just kind of feeling like mad at it and frustrated with it? Or are you actually working because you're excited about what you have your hands on? Because let me tell you, I don't think there's any other company out there. Doug is the best. There's no other company out there that has the 4-in-1 that we have, but they definitely don't have Christmas cash on top stacked to a success bonus that we have on top of the Fast Start program that we have, like during this holiday season. Now, I know Christmas cash is a lot of work, but it's also a ton of money. And I don't know, I forgot what the total amount was. I think it was like 7,000 or 8,000 if you get it all.
It's like 7,000.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But like how much would $7,000 like bless you guys like right now? I would imagine it would bless every single person on this.
Tell us what it would bless you with in the chat. Take a second just right now. And if someone actually, like Cassie said, was like, hey, like you will literally be out on the streets if you don't hit this. And I know you need the $7,000. Not only would you not be out on the streets, but you would get whatever you need with the $7,000. What would it actually give you? Take a second and just write it in the chat below and actually write it out. And it's, you know, what's so funny is I notice that when I ask people, they know exactly what to say. But when things get hard, is that the first thing that you think of? When things get hard, are you like, yes, oh my gosh, I need this. I need it for this. Because that would keep you going. You know, they always used to say like your why makes you cry. And at the end of the day, like my why used to make me cry. And then it stopped to where it didn't push me anymore. Right. And I had to find a new why. So if what you're writing right now is not something that is going to push you when you've had a rough day, people telling you no, right? All these things, you need to get a new reason, right? For why you need this money. Because at the end of the day, like the people who have the need are the one who are going to actually achieve it. Okay. Very proud of all of you that are writing it down as well.
Also, too, another thing that I wanted to add on to is I am different from some people in like my why. So my why has changed so much throughout my business. And it used to be money, but then it was like the more money that I made, the less I cared about money. I've never been like, oh my gosh, I need all this money. I'm not money motivated. That's the right thing to say. I'm not money motivated. So for me, what motivates me and what always has been in the best times of my business is when I would pick this one person that literally I'm like, I need to help this person. And it literally motivated me like no other. And it made me work harder for the other person. And it brought me so much joy and more joy than when I even got my own money. And I feel like that also goes back to being generous and having gratitude, and increase comes when you live a life of generosity and living like Jesus. So Jesus came and his whole life was to give. And I mean, I know we talk about God all the time, but you know what, guys, like it's always going to point back to God. The reason why we're here is so much bigger than a paycheck. It's so much bigger than Christmas cash. It's so much bigger than even It Works, but we're so blessed to have It Works because we are blessed to be a blessing. And I believe that every single person that's even on this Zoom right now, whether you believe me or not, is here for a reason. And I told Haley the other day, I said, you know what? Cassie's team and my team, I'm praying for them. She's praying for them. I'm like, you guys are like kind of stuck. Like you're like in the family of God, whether you realize it or not, because you have people praying for you. So if you don't have family that prays for you, you have us that pray for you. And I'm telling you from my own experiences, just one person praying for you can change the whole trajectory of your life. And when I say you're stuck, I mean, like, whether you realize it or not, you are a part of God's family, and there's such a purpose on your life while you're even on this Zoom right now. But I want to go back to generosity. So generosity financially, and generosity like with your time and giving people advice, like whatever that looks like, when you are giving to others, you are going to get it back. But the most important part about that is not giving,
Just to receive.
looking to receive.
Yeah.
It's not
That-
transactional.
It's not transactional. A relationship with God is not give and take. I pray, I get this. It's a relationship, and it's your own personal relationship. And if you don't have your own personal relationship, I want to remind you that God is in everything. God is here right now, because he says, when two or more come together, there I am. So here he is right now. And when you get off the Zoom, you literally can say, God, this girl, Adriana, don't know who she is, but she says that you're my dad and I should have a relationship with you, and you want to prosper me. So can you like reveal yourself to me? Because he's going to talk to you in a very specific way that's different than the way he talks to me. And I mean, the life that each of us are living right now, we're not even where he wants us yet. Like, we're not there yet. Like, if there's a bigger purpose, and every single person on here, whatever you've been through in your life, like all the bad things, like think about all the bad things you went through in your life, and you're like, why me? Like, why did I have to go through that? Every single bad thing that you went through is to help someone else go through that season. And you can't help someone else if you didn't go through that wilderness yourself. God didn't put us here to say, let's have these people struggle and see if they could figure it out. No, it's just that some people actually figure out that the pain was for a purpose to help other people. You can't lead people if you haven't been there for yourself. And another thing too is, if you're looking out for just your own interests and you don't look out for the interests of others, then you don't have the mind of Christ. And God came here and he was looking out for other human need. And then he's like, what can I do to fix that? So for me, when I go out and like, when I hear people's like struggle, or like even my friends, if they're like going through something, like I take it personal, and I'm like, what can I do to actually like help them? Girls on my team. And you know what? I am blessed because of it, and you want to know what too? It brings you the greatest joy. It brings you so much joy to help someone else, and that will bring you more blessing all by itself too. So I hope that made sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
Another part too, to kind of spin off of that, this is getting kind of deep, but I'm just gonna go there. So the way you live your life too, in my opinion, like affects your business. And I say that because, like, why would God continue to bless you if you're doing all the wrong things? And sometimes God allows certain things to happen to you in your life to get your attention, to redirect you back to him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I pray to God when I'm happy, I pray to God when I'm sad, but I know I need him more when I'm sad, right? It's of course there's a need more when I'm hurting, but when I'm happy, it's easy to put him on the back burner because I forget, right? That's why they say we go through, we learn all the most lessons through the valley, not on the mountaintop. And that's why, like, we have problems in life and struggles, because it grows our faith and it grows us stronger. It brings us stronger to the Lord. So saying that, God's going to redirect you. Like, he's always going to redirect you back to him. And I know Adriana like went through like a really dark time in her life, like years and years ago, back like whenever I first joined the business. And like, she went through a time in her life like where she put God in the back burner, and she like wasn't doing the things that she should have done. And because of that, she wasn't living a very happy life. If anything, it was the complete opposite. She went through a lot of trauma and a lot of things, and now living life completely differently. I mean, you can speak too, like, life is so different. Now, of course, she's not exactly where she wants to be. I know that, and I'm just speaking over my sister, but I know like her biggest like thing that she wants is she wants to meet a person. She wants to get married. Like, that's like her big dream. Like, she wants to be married. If anyone here is single and wants to be married, like, we understand, right? No one wants to be alone, unless like you like being alone. I don't think anyone, like, most people don't want to be single. They're looking for their person, right? Or maybe you have your person and like your desire is to have babies, whatever the case is. Everyone has like a thing. And her thing is like, she wants a person. Like, I know that she doesn't want to be like lonely forever, right? And she's not, but she has us. But the whole point is she lives such a beautiful life now because of what God has done and what he's taken her through and the way she lives her life. But she could still find joy in the waiting, because even though she's not where she wants to be yet, look at what God is doing now. And I think that was like a really important thing, because we're always going to be waiting for something. I remember when I was building my house and I was in my little apartment, like I was like, once I get in my house, then I'll do all these things. And once I get in my house, then I'll be happy. And let me tell you, once I got in my house, there was a whole nother set of things to worry about, and a whole nother set of problems.
And I think we've
But-
all felt that way.
yeah.
Like drop a one if you felt that way. Like once I get this, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Once I do this, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I think we've all said
Yeah,
that.
I want you guys to know, like, that's never going to stop happening. We're always going to be waiting for something.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to just truly live in the moment and just be joyful about all the grateful things that you have right now. If you have food and if you have a roof over your head and if you have someone that loves you, you're blessed. Okay. And I want you guys to truly, truly just like meditate on that, because gratitude is like the most powerful feeling that you can feel. And if you're a grateful person, I promise you, you're going to be a way happier person. And if you don't have the book Power Words, you need it. I know I talk about it a lot, but you need that book. That book changed my life, and there's a lot about that in that book. But I want you guys to be grateful for the season that you're in, even if you're not where you want to be, because I would imagine mostly every single person on the Zoom is not where they want to be yet. There's probably another thing that they're wanting to do with their life, whether it's in their relationships or in their careers or the business, whatever. And I want you to find joy now, because there is always something to be grateful for, no matter, even if you're going through the darkest valley, no matter the problems or circumstances that are happening, like there is still something to be grateful for if you choose to focus on that. Because the Bible says to focus on all those great things.
And there's going to always be something to criticize.
Mhm.
No matter how much money you have or your position, choose to be thankful. That's a choice, right?
Yeah.
So
And that's what I was saying about last month. Like I felt like I had so much to be grateful for, and all I could focus on was the lack and what I didn't do, what I didn't accomplish. Drop a 2 if you've ever been there. Like that's what I felt like. That's where all my attention was going. And that was controlling like my emotions. You know what I mean? Like I was different around my friends. Like they knew something was up, you know what I mean? And like, I think at the end of the day, like obviously, like Cass said, like everybody's in a waiting season. You know, you look at someone and you're like, in comparison, you know, like you can be like, oh my God, like these 3 got it all. Like, how are they even going to sit here and talk about all these things? But at the end of the day, like, we're not where we want to be. We're in a waiting season. We're all in some type of waiting season. And I think the worst thing that you can do for yourself is look at everybody else and be like, I wish like I was where they are. Because at the end of the day, like you are where you are for a purpose. Like, you know, God has had your whole life planned out for you since you were in the womb. Like he had everything, every day, every moment planned out to a T. So where you are right now is for a reason. You're not supposed to be where I am. You're not supposed to be where Adriana is, Cassie, anybody on this Zoom. And so I want you guys to remember that, because I think we can get so like, oh my God, well, how's this person doing with Christmas cash? Because if this person's doing well, I'm a failure because I'm not where I'm supposed to be, right? Don't look at anybody else. At the end of the day, God can move in the miracle hour. That's what my grandma always used to say. He can move in the miracle hour. He can move in literally at any time in your life. And he can bring you 5 girls before midnight tonight, and they can all be rock stars. But you have to believe that he's even going to bless you with that, right? Because if you don't believe it, and you don't believe in what he can do, that he is the God of possible and God of the impossible, then at the end of the day, like, how is he supposed to bless you with the impossible? You guys have to think like that, you know, and just realize that it all starts with like how your thinking is, right?
Yeah, the comparison.
Oh, yeah, please do it. Yes, please do.
Okay, so we heard this at church the week before last. I'm going to try to make it short, but basically our pastor that was speaking, she's dealing with infertility, and she had miscarriage after miscarriage. Like everybody was rooting for her to have a baby. Like the couple was growing older. Like it was a big deal. I know that that's a big deal still even right now, but she tells a story of how 5 years before, when she was getting married, she's super excited, and she entered this raffle to win a wedding dress that was worth $3,000, right? So she entered to win the wedding dress. She won the wedding dress. And then she posted on social media about it, like, so excited, won this wedding dress. And then she's like, have you ever like had someone send you a text message that like wasn't supposed to go to you, but was about you, and someone's talking crap about you, and the message somehow got sent to your phone? Has that ever happened to anybody? If it has, like, drop a one.
I
But
felt
she
bad
was-
for her in that
so
moment.
that happened to her, and some woman who also got engaged at the same time and was kind of like similar life, entered or wanted the wedding dress and had texted her by accident. She didn't deserve the wedding dress, like this and that. She's this, she's that. And fast forward 5 years later, that same woman that sent the nasty text went on to get married, went on to have children of her own. And then this other woman went on to have 5 years of infertility and 5 years of like the darkest days of her life. And she's like, this is why you should never compare and look at the outside of someone. She goes, I would have traded that wedding dress to have my baby 5 years ago. And so this is why it's so important not to look at Cassie and be like, well, Cassie has a big house and Cassie has this, and Haley masks and rolls, and look at me, I just joined last year. And you don't know the struggles that someone had to go through, their darkest days that people don't talk about. And everybody's unique. Everybody goes through their own struggle, and you don't want to trade that with other people. And sometimes the surface looks better than what's underneath. And sometimes people don't talk about their biggest hurt. So that's why it's super important not to compare your life to someone else's life, because maybe their darkest days you wouldn't even want to handle or be involved in.
Yeah.
Maybe your life was easier. Who knows? Like, everybody's life is hard, but that's why it's super important not to compare, especially the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Amen
I
to
thought
that.
that was a good
It
story.
was a good story. Social media is just a highlight reel, guys. And I promise you, like, all three of us each have our own personal thing that we all go through, right? I promise you it's not perfect like it may seem. My house has mold right now. I mean, so it's like, it's fine. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm it's not, but it's not. But yeah, like, I don't ever want you guys to compare, and I just want you guys to just believe that you are worthy and you are perfect and you are made perfectly in your own image, and God never made any mistake with you, and that whatever God has done for us, like, he can do for you. God doesn't
Yeah.
play favorites. If he can bless us, he can bless you, but you just have to believe in it. And one other thing too that this was like from a sermon that I just took notes on. I thought it was really, really good. It says, when you lose hope, do you listen to yourself or do you talk to yourself? This was really good. And it says, you need to preach to yourself God's truth. You need to learn to encourage yourself and build yourself up. So the reason why I say this is because, are you listening to that self chatter that's going on in your head whenever like you're getting those negative thoughts or that pity party or whatever? Like, are you listening to it and just feeding that? Or are you talking to yourself and filling yourself up with like God's truth? It says, build yourself up. If God is for you, who can be against you? And just, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You're feeding your heart and your emotions, and you're directing your soul. So that's why it's so important to be so self-aware whenever you are, having that happen, because you're human and you're going to be under attack and you're going to have bad days and life's going to happen, right? It happens to every single person. It's up to you, like, what you choose to do with it. Like, take every thought captive. Decide, are you going to entertain those thoughts? Or are you going to dismiss them and send them back to hell where they came from? And are you going to give all those worries and stresses and things to God? Or are you just going to sit in that and just let that simmer? Because the enemy would love nothing more than for you to just sit in that. And they also mentioned, have you ever attended a pity party? No one else ever shows up. It's always a party of one. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And that was about it. There was some other stuff too, but I just love that so much. Like, it's so important to make sure that you guys are not skipping out in your morning prayer, in your morning personal development, in your journaling. Don't ever just sit in silence. Put on some worship music. Do whatever it takes to put yourself in a good mood, feeling excited. Now, I understand it's difficult sometimes to get yourself feeling excited if you're tired, or if you're a mom, or if life is just happening and things are just going on in your personal life. Like, I understand, like, Haley's energy is kind of rare, but I don't have her energy, but it's hard to get yourself feeling that way when you don't just feel good, right? And that's why it's so important to stay close to the fire, to get on these Zooms. But you guys also, like, this is your business. Like, you guys are all business owners. Like, it's your job to start every single day on a positive note, no matter what is happening in your personal life, and decide, like, you're going to rock today and you're going to start on an amazing note. And you're not going to push your personal development and your prayer in the back burner, because you need that, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's up to you to get excited, because if you're not excited, how can you possibly go out there and, pour excitement into your team, or go enroll a customer and be excited for them, or, a distributor. Like if you haven't enrolled quality distributors in a while, well, you have to kind of ask yourself, like, how are you feeling right now? How have you been acting? There is a lot of self-awareness that has to happen. But the good thing is that you can change it in an instant. Like it's a work in progress, but I promise you, like if you start to do that, you're going to notice a change in your everyday life. And it literally could just be like 15 minutes in the morning. It doesn't have to be anything long, but I promise you, like, start your morning routine, start putting God first and making him like the priority in your life, and you're going to see everything change.
And there was something I was going to add, and if you guys want to add something to after this, that's fine, because I know this is getting long, so I appreciate you guys staying on. But one thing I was going to say is, I know you mentioned earlier about me like praying over my business and praying for the right people to come. That I just want to say, like, for me, like, it's not just me waking up and saying like, hey, God, please bring me like 5 customers today, because that's what I need. In your mighty name, amen. Like, and I end it. Like, that's not what it is. Like, for me, I had to start giving things that were holding me back. And there's a lot of things right now that are, like she said, like you're holding your thoughts captive. There's something that's holding you back right now. And it's giving you a hard time every day. Right. And I don't know what you're going through. And obviously I know that, I even posted this on my story the other day, but healing is not overnight. And I know that. And I think everyone here knows that, all of us are healing from something, but those things, like, they are stealing your peace. And something I want you to do is lean into the one who can take it all away and give you the strength for tonight, give you the strength for tomorrow, for every single day of your life. And you have to actually give it, because what that looks like is not worrying, not staying fearful, and I know these girls have been through very hard times in their life. And anytime things did get hard, what they did was turn to the one who could take it all away. They turned to Jesus and they gave it to him, And so I want to encourage all of you to do that, whether that's tonight or tomorrow morning. I know you guys probably are feeling a lot of things right now. So get off this Zoom, take a breather. But I just want you guys to realize you're not supposed to carry that. You guys are carrying a lot of things that you were never meant to carry for as long as you are. And it's time now to actually give it to your Father. So
I got something to say.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I'm curious, like, genuinely. So please write in the chat if you feel this. Write me in the chat if you've ever heard anybody talk in the Zoom, or heard a sermon, or heard someone talk about God and be like, okay, that all sounds great, but like, what do I do? Mm-hmm. Tell me if you felt like that. What do I do?
Oh boy.
Because everything you're saying sounds really good, but I get off this and I don't know what to do.
That's good.
Okay. Well, that's the first step, right?
What you're going to say.
No, I don't even know. No, I do. Okay, so oh God.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I've been there too. So
yeah.
First of all is knowing that just like your earthly father, if you have one or if you don't have one, that our heavenly Father is your father. So my dad, just like your dad, the way that in which you talk to him. And this helped me so much when I first learned. When someone told me this, I was like, okay, I could talk to God. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be sounding good. It could, if you say like, y'all, what's good? Like, you could talk to God like that if you want to. I don't know how you talk. If that's how you talk to him like that. So first, being comfortable to knowing that just like your family member, your friend, that's how close he is. The Bible says he's closer than a brother, and that's true. And then prayer, alone time. So I don't know if you pray with your significant other or your friends or by yourself, but being alone is crucial. Yeah. You need to be alone. You need to go to your secret place. A worship song. I have an Apple worship playlist. If you guys don't have it, you can follow me. Putting on what always helped me was putting on a worship song, literally getting on my hands and knees, like face down if you need to. Start with surrender. Write the word down somewhere. Write it down. Surrender. Surrender your will, your thoughts, your mind, your body, everything. Surrender. You can say, God, I surrender everything to you. God can't do anything without you surrendering first. So surrender. And the way that I like to start after that is gratitude. And trust me, when you surrender and then gratitude, everything else will start coming. You'll be crying in the closet. Like that's how it happens for me. And then literally I close my eyes. I think about all the things I'm grateful for. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my sister. Thank you for my legs. Thank you for that I'm healthy. Thank you. Because some people don't have a bed to sleep in tonight. Say it out loud. You'll literally start crying, and God, the Holy Spirit will come over you and he will start reminding you of all the things that he's given you. And that is the beginning of a relationship. And that's how you talk to God. And then honestly, from there, just pray. A prayer that I've recently started praying in my own life, especially in the morning, is Holy Spirit, what do you want me to do today?
Yeah.
Who do you want me to bless today?
Mm-hmm.
What would you have me do for today? And it's crazy too, because it feels like nothing, but then you go about your day and something happens like that. It happened to me literally 2 days ago, and I ended up blessing someone who ended up blessing me more. Like it was the craziest thing. So asking God, like how you would have him spend your day, and just realize that it's little things and baby steps. And then, another great thing too, ask God to help you recognize his voice. Because God's always talking, whether it's through a person, a thing, anything. He's always speaking. It's just that we don't see it and we have our blinders up. And also too, like the way you live your life is super important, because sin separates us from God. Whether you realize it or not, sin separates you from him. So the louder sin gets and the outside world gets, the less you could hear from him, but he's always talking.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
Something I was going to add to what you just said, it really just like sparked it in me, is, you were talking about like, no one wants to go through life alone. And drop a 1 if you feel that way. Like, I don't want to go through life alone. Like, I want a community. Like, I want people. And I can tell you right now that God has a community picked out for all of you. And something that I encourage all of you to do is not only to get into church, right? And like get into like an actual physical church. Like I used to watch church online. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I used to watch church online because I was actually scared to go into church. But now I do. And I realized why I needed to, because the community that like I have even around me literally right now is like who I go to when I need someone to speak to me and speak over me and fill me up. And you need people like that. You need people who are going to truly fill you up with the word of God when you are at one of your lowest points, right? Or when you're going through a tough time. You're not supposed to do this alone. It says that in the Bible. You're not supposed to go through life alone. And so if you find yourself when you're in a hard spot and you're by yourself, I want to encourage you to talk to people who make you feel good, who make you feel better, who give you that incredible joy. Because at the end of the day, they're giving to you and you're giving to them. And like she said, you're going to find yourself blessing other people with what you learn from those around you. And you're going to be a bigger blessing because of that. So the right people truly make a difference. I know that's in the Bible too. Like, it's like your friends, like your circle, like matters.
Yeah. We're not meant to do life alone. Like we need each other. We need each other in like everything, like in this business. I remember when I moved from Connecticut to Florida, like I was so excited to go to Florida, but I was so sad to leave my Connecticut team. I was literally like depressed over it. And I literally prayed to God. I'm like, please just like send me some like friends and some girls. Like I need that community. Like I thrive off of it. And it didn't happen right away, but little by little, first it was Allison, and then a couple other girls came and left, and then, enter Haley and Jess. And then now other girls are here, Laura and Adrian and Kelsey, a bunch of other girls just moved here. And honestly, like, I love it. Like, please, more people move to Sarasota. Like, people welcome you in. And like, I love it. And I just love hanging out with them. Like, I just thrive. Like, they've made me better. They've taught me things. Like, they don't even realize it, but they've helped me even in my like hard times. And I love them so much. Like, I love the community. So like, you guys like have to get around people. If you have anyone local to you and you're not taking advantage of it, please do. And if you don't, pray about it and ask God to send you someone for you to meet somebody, or if not, like get on Zoom and make a friend and like, just like start that community. Cause I promise you, like that will help you so much. Yeah. So much.
And we hope this Zoom really, something that one of us said, we hope that it spoke to you guys. And we honestly are just so grateful for each and every single one of you hopping on here. And we pray, honestly, so many blessings over you guys. We pray Christmas cash over each and every single one of you guys, because we know that you guys will be good stewards and you guys will go and bless other people with it. And so just remember that like you deserve it. And you know, it wouldn't have been placed on Doug's heart to give it to us if it wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
So we're really grateful for each and every single one of you, and we love you guys. And
Thank you guys. And
yeah,
Jess,
thank
and
you.
Jess said, come to events. If you guys
Yeah.
don't have your conference ticket, this is your sign, get it. If you were on this Zoom, I believe it was for a reason. I hope it blessed you, and get to conference. I promise you, it will like change your life. You won't regret it. Thank you guys. and
Thank
hope
you,
have a good
guys.
rest of your night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.